boys and girls. This week you are learning all about graphs and how to use graphs and why we use graphs. And so I want to first start off by telling you that graphs are used when we have a collection of information or data, and we use graphs to organize our data or information. So this week we're pretending that I asked my students about their favorite shark, and I gave them 3 different kinds of sharks. You can see them on the left hand side. I have hammerhead, the great white, and the whale shark. And if you notice, I have a label right here that tells these are the types of sharks that we are voting on this week. My label over here says the number of children. So underneath that and next to the shark, it will tell us how many children like that shark. Let's start by counting for hammerhead. So what we can do is we go and we find our hammerhead shark and we go right next to it where we have the little smiley faces. Each smiley face is 1 vote. So each smiley face is 1 student who voted for that hammerhead shark. So what I will do is I'm going to count how many students like the hammerhead shark. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What I like to do is next to the graph, I'll put the number of votes that I got. Now, if you notice underneath, I added the numbers. So I wrote the number 1, I wrote the number 2, and so on. But you don't have to do that when you're counting. You can just count normally, and you don't have to write the number underneath. So I'm going to do that for the next one. I'm not going to write the number underneath. I'm just going to count out loud. So for great white shark, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll put the number 7 at the end of my graph. 7 students like the great white shark. For whale shark, that's easy peasy. I'll just count the number 1, 2. And I'll put 2 at the end of my graph. We now know how many students like each shark. We're going to now put this information into a tally graph, and I'll teach you how to use tallies. We have hammerhead, there's 5. Great white, there's 7, and whale shark, there is 2. We're going to be using tally marks to show on our tally chart how many students like each shark. If you are forgetting how to use tally marks, we're going to do a quick review. So a tally mark looks like this. It's just a straight line down. It's not very big. And what we do when we draw tally marks is I count them like this. So I drew 1, 2, 3, 4. And I say the 5th one shuts the door, so it slams it. That's why it's on an angle. And then in order to continue on, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th one shuts the door. And if you notice, I can even count by I can even count by 5s when I have groups like this. So this would be 5, this would be 10, and so on. We're going to use our tally marks today to show how many how many votes each shark got. So for the first one, the hammerhead shark, it got 5 votes. So I'm going to draw my 5 tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th one shuts the door. For the great white, it got 7. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th one shuts the door. 6, 7. And then for the last one, the whale shark, it got 2 votes. So that's easy peasy. I'll just go 1, 2. Oops, I'll make that I'll make that one a little longer. Okay. So now we have our tally marks all set up. We know how many kids liked each shark. So now we have a couple questions, and that's why it's really important to keep such an organized graph, because it helps organize your information and data in order to analyze it or compare different pieces of your information. So the first question says, how many students liked the hammerhead shark? So I can go back up here, find the hammerhead shark, and I see, 5 students liked the hammerhead shark. So I'll write the number 5. Ooh, so the next question says, which shark had the most votes? Well, I know that the buzzword in this problem is the word most. I want you to take a minute and think about which shark has the most number of votes. If you said the great white shark has the most number of votes, you are correct. When I look at these 3 numbers over here, The word most means the greatest number, and I know out of 2, 5, and 7 that number 7 is the largest number or the greatest number, and that means that it had the most number of votes. So the great white had the most. My next question says, which shark had the fewest number of votes? Ooh, so my buzzword here is the word fewest. Take a minute and think about which shark had the fewest. If you said whale shark, you are correct. When we look at the numbers 2, 5, and 7, I know that my smallest number is the number 2, which means it had the fewest number of votes. So the whale shark had the fewest number of votes. My last question says, how many kids voted in all? Which means I need to take the number of kids that voted for hammerhead, for the great white, and the whale shark, and I am adding them together. So I'll make a addition problem. 5 plus 7 plus 2 equals blank. Well, this reminds me of back when we did our addition problems like this. I can take 5 plus 2, and I know that 5 plus 2 equals 7. This makes it easy for me to continue with my addition problem, because I know that 7 plus 7 is a doubles fact, and 7 plus 7 equals 14, which means that the number of kids who voted in all is the number 14. Great job, boys and girls. This week you are going to continue practicing your graph skills by doing our ocean animal graph challenge this week. Good luck and have fun.